Chris Neal started working out with you, huh, Matthew?
I wouldn't say I'm working out with him. I'm more just yelling at him to tell him to work harder. That's what we do. You should take him fishing sometime. It's kind of the same thing.
Hey, is Dan Quinn on here or Chip Person?
I'm on.
Hey, just FYI for however we might need them, Red Oak contacted us and said they'd be happy to help out in any fashion they want. I told them what we were planning on doing with Big Stock and the pre-cook, and they said wherever you need them, they'd like to be still be a sponsor, even if it's in a modified version.
Oh, it's awesome. Thanks, Kelly.
Very awesome.
Welcome.
Kelly, don't ask Dan where they should go. Ask me.
What's your address, guy?
They should go to Gail's house if that's where we're having it.
Yeah, they already know where I live.
Well, I'm going to put you guys in touch with them, and you can just talk it through. And they seem really willing to just do whatever we wanted them to do.
Were you talking to Bill, or were you talking to somebody else out there, Kelly?
Actually, no, we were not talking to Bill. This is our rep. We serve their product on tap, and I'm sorry, this actually is coming third party. Tony Biddle, my food and beverage director, was actually speaking with them, but he passed it along that they had inquired and said, "Are you doing it again?" And said, "Whatever they want us to do, we'll do."
Super.
But Bill's a good friend. He is supportive of this effort as well. He's been made aware.
Oh, yes.
All right, Hank, I'm done.
Somebody's either not happy or very playful in the background there.
I thought their stomach was growling.
That's my dogs.
I was hoping it wasn't your cats.
Everyone, before the sun comes up, can you look at Tony Huelmeyer? He's there. It's like a highlights photo. Find Tony Huelmeyer among the trees.
That's pretty fun.
I'm enjoying the sunrise. The porch.
I hope it comes, Tony.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
It is 2020.
We're going to go ahead and get started. James has our invocation. James, you want to lead us off?
Sure. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for this day. Give us compassion and humility in our hearts. Let us be kind, gentle, generous, loving, giving, and forgiving wherever we may go. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United
of the
States.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do.
Is it true?
Is it fair to all
concerned?
Will it build
goodwill and
better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right. Thank you, James.
Sure.
I'm not sure if Rick is on here.
He is.
Martin. Rick, you there?
Rick's on his way back from Oklahoma. Supposed to have spent the night in Memphis last night. He may not be with us today.
Am I coming through? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh, I spoke too soon. Here he is.
we can
Good.
hear you, Rick.
Unfortunately, right? Good morning to you. Coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee at 6:06 a.m., home of Elvis. Guy, did you get my report I sent to you last night?
I did. Do you need some help?
Yes, I am back in a corner of my friend's house, obviously at 6 in the morning. Everyone is asleep, and there was no way for me to print it up. Actually, there is, but they're all asleep, and I can't get them up. So if you could, sir, share our anniversaries with us today, I would appreciate it.
Okay, so the member birthdays this week are Gigi Renaud on September 22nd. Is Gigi on here? She's 39. Christy Mulholland, September 27th, also 39. Wedding anniversaries tomorrow, John Nosser. So I think John's on there. He got his due warning. And then club anniversaries, Mike Slaney. I'm going to mute everybody here. There you go. All right. So Mike has 19th club anniversary, and Auburn Perkins 2 years anniversary in the club. So that's our club anniversaries. Mid Middleton's in there too, but it says 1 year for Mid. Everybody knows Mid's been around a long time. Mid has come and gone a couple times in our club. All right. So remember, if I call on you to unmute yourself, Mike, you have our football pool results.
I do, and since I now have to add my own special effects, I'll go ahead and do that. Good morning, ing. And before I get started on the football pool, I just have a question. Rick Martin, while you're lurking in the corner of the small room in your friend's house, do they know you're there?
Oh God, this is kind of embarrassing. No, actually, I slipped in, and that's why I'm trying to be quiet before they discover that. Okay. Oh God, Rick is here again.
Just wanted to clarify that point.
Yes, sir.
The one question: did everyone, and Mike Conrad, I know you didn't get it the first week. Did everyone get the football pool when Guy sent it last week? After I did. Did everyone got it? Okay. We'll do that again this week to make sure that everyone gets it. We had a small group of folks that did it this week, but boy, were the scores were like super strong, and it was really close. And we'll get to the winning numbers in a minute, but even the people on the low end did a really good job. I'll jump to the scores. On the low end with 17, is Kim Dane on this morning? I didn't see Kim, so she had the low score. So, and Richard Needham was second lowest. Is Eric Durham on? I don't think Richard's on. No Eric Durham either. So the fourth lowest, which is really unfair because he was just two away from the top, is Tony Villier, who had 21. A really strong showing for someone who gets the Losers Award. It's not fair, Tony, but that's just life. On the other end, there were several people who had 22, including Bobby Christensen, Tom Phoenix, and Todd Nunn. There were two people who had 23, and you're both on there now. It was Mike Andrus and Guy Rabondo. The total point score of the actual Saints-Raiders game was 58. Guy picked 65, only 7 away. And that was enough to edge out Mike, who had picked 48. So the winner this week is Guy in a very closely, hotly contested race. We'll get this out today. It'll be a deadline of tomorrow, or if you want, tomorrow night, I can do it like 10 a.m. Saturday morning to give you a little bit more time. I think I'll do that. And then hopefully we'll have good participation. Thanks for those who did play, and look for exciting games this week. One last thing, if anyone, if a game is canceled, then I just like toss it out. It doesn't count as a win or a loss, it's just out. And we'll just reduce the number of games in there for those people who have expressed concern, and I appreciate your concern in all matters football pool. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. It does get a little easier when you can look at the critic picks while you're selecting. So, in full disclosure, I did look at some of the odds.
I was going to say something, but I thought, it is the truth, and it is fair for all concerned for me to say something about it, and the other two as well, even the one that's always struck me as somewhat redundant. It is fair. There's no rule against it. Of course, when we have the live meetings, we only have about a minute or two. So, I can see who's checking their phones with the games and everything. In the meeting here, you can do that. It's still a win, Guy. Is it without any taint? You answer that.
Well, I only used it for the pro games, which were pretty clear anyway, because the college games, nobody picks odds on half those games anyway. All right, well, we'll keep going here. So we had our district golf tournament last week after our meeting. Kim, Lisa, Ralph, and Kim's husband were played in that game. I think his name's Brian. How'd that go, guys?
No, it's today.
Oh, it's today. I'm sorry.
It's today, and we're disappointed because we were informed we are disqualified for competition because Brian is not a Rotarian. So, but we'll have it anyway.
Huh, that's interesting. Maybe Walt can dust off the clubs and go out there and be a ringer for y'all.
I guess that was the issue. Apparently that happened a couple of years ago. So now you're not a Rotarian, your group is disqualified for prizes.
Lisa, maybe he could fill out an application pretty quick. That's
what I suggest.
Let's get him in quickly. We'll approve him right now. All right. Well, you have to let us know how y'all do anyway. So next, I'm going to call on Chris Neal, strength coach, for our service announcement. Matthew.
Good morning, everybody. Nothing's really changed. It's like I've been preaching for probably too early. But October 2nd and 3rd, first weekend in October, we're going to be putting a roof on a house. I've seen pictures of it. It's real low slope, nothing to worry about. We've got, I believe, 10 people signed up for Friday, and East Greensboro will be there on Saturday. So I'm fairly positive that it's going to get done the first weekend. And we've got plenty of people signed up the following weekend for backup. So we're looking good, and I can't wait to start annoying y'all about ringing the bell. Thanks.
Thank you, Matthew. I did hear Chip is on, and I know Rick is on. They have an announcement about our world's greatest meal. That is October 24th. Chip.
Right, October 24th at Gail Stansel's house. We'll get the address out. But we had the email ready to go, but I didn't get approval from all the parties to actually send it yesterday, but we'll get that out today. It is October the 24th. Christy Milholland will be cooking chicken, right, Christy? Rick is probably going to be cooking ribs and brisket. I'll probably be cooking Boston butts. But this is a practice run. I hate to let the club be guinea pigs on the world's greatest meal. Practice run for pig stock, which is November the 7th. So if anybody else would like to come cook some barbecue with us, we'll just pick whichever's best, and that'll be our competition barbecue for pig stock. But come on out. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn something. We love it. We're planning to have a little live music there. It will happen mostly outside. We hope for good weather. We will have pop-up tents. Gail's house is on a cul-de-sac, so we've got that open cul-de-sac, and they've been able to host as many as 125 people in the open air out there. So bring a mask, bring a chair, and bring a beverage and a side dish. It'll be like a potluck thing, and it is a fundraiser, hopefully to help end polio. I'll let Mike Conrad or somebody else, our polio representative, tell us about that later on. Pig stock is November the 7th. And while I've got you, the Satellite Club has a work project for Out of the Garden project at Out of the Garden on October the 3rd. I think it starts in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. but there should be an email going out about that too. Sorry to compete with Matthew's project. Satellite Club had sort of picked that date randomly, and I guess we just didn't inform each other. But two different projects, two different types of things to do. So anyway, any questions, please call or email me. I'll be glad to fill you in. And an email will be going out. Just got lost in the shuffle yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
We might want to mention that if you're going to do a side, don't feel like you have to make a side big enough to feed 537 people or whatever. You know, bring enough for your family and one other. Typically is a good rule of thumb. Do more if you can, but don't feel like you have to do a huge quantity of something. If everybody's bringing a side, it all works out.
Thank you, Rick. And Rick is our Polio Plus chair. So this is a group of different events all lumped in together. That's actually going to be our meeting for the week as well. So we're planning to kind of put three into one here. Make sure you bring a donation so we can fund our Polio Plus contribution this year as well. So it's going to be a big event. Lots of people will be able to get together for the first time in more than 6 months. Now we're gonna do things a little bit different here for our meeting. Our speaker was canceled last minute, so we were fortunate enough to have a club member agree to give a new member talk, and then we're gonna wrap it up. She's probably gonna wrap it up a little bit early, and then we should have enough time. I wanted to do kind of an open discussion to let people air any concerns or questions they have about us doing these hybrid live meetings. And I was going to talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to keep that organized and flowing well, but if not, then, you know, I'll just mute all y'all and keep talking. So, all right. Lisa, you want to introduce our speaker?
Sure. I think most of you all have met Kim Tyler. Kim was one of the first satellite members, and I actually met Kim, gosh, back in the early part of this, I guess the spring. But she and her husband Scott moved to Greensboro from Raleigh last year. And Scott, her husband, works with Bob Crumroy, that spoke to us about Bikes for Children. So lots of connections there. And Kim was kind enough to step in at the last minute when I had a speaker cancel on us. And so welcome, Kim. We're looking forward to hearing more about you.
Well, thank you, Lisa, and good morning, everyone. When Lisa asked if I could speak, I think she invited several other satellite members, and I guess I'm the only one that got the lucky draw and said I would do it. So I will say I don't have a 30-minute conversation about myself, but I'll do my best to tell you a little bit about myself. I do want to say I'm really excited to be a part of this initial satellite group. Being new in Greensboro, like Lisa said, we moved here in June of last year. Having grown children or one that just graduated from college and a married daughter, it's really hard to meet new people in the community. There's no school association. Churches, we started visiting some churches, and then that came to a halt in March, like everyone knows. So the satellite group has been so welcoming, and it's just been a nice ray of sunshine to me to meet some new folks. Personally, have some new friends, and it's been a lot to me. So thank you for having me and being a part of the group. And like Lisa said, we moved here in June of last year. Scott works for Bob Crumroy, who owns a company called Identity Branding, and you all heard Bob, and actually sponsored a Bikes for Kids program for him, which is an amazing program. But Scott's worked for Bob for about 6 years. In Raleigh, he was commuting back and forth, and finally Bob said, Scott, I need you here in Greensboro. So we moved here, and I'll get into what I do a little bit in just a few minutes. But anyway, I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, and my parents own a greenhouse business called The Plant Place, which they've owned for 40 years. My dad's 80 years old, my mom's 78, and they still work every day out there taking care of plants and waiting on customers. So That's what I grew up doing, waiting on customers and planting plants and working in the greenhouses. So did that. And then I went to UNC Chapel Hill for college. And at the time, didn't know he would be the love of my life forever. But Scott and I started dating in Chapel Hill and all through school, and ended up getting married. We just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary this year. So that was a celebration. We do have 2 children. Our daughter Addison is 25 and she got married last October. They're getting ready to have a 1-year anniversary. Pre-COVID wedding, thank goodness. A little picture here. Here's our, actually it's a better one. This is my little bride. It's kind of hard to see. Anyway, so there's my bride and groom, and anyway, they live in Beaufort, South Carolina. She's a first grade school teacher. This year has not started off like she has intended, just like everyone else, but she's making the best of it, and their kids are actually going to come back to school in 2 weeks. So they live in Beaufort, South Carolina, like I said, and her husband's a fly fishing guide down there. So if anybody ever wants to go to Beaufort and do some fly fishing in the shallow waters of the low country, he's a great guy to do it. So he's kind of living the dream of, that he was an outdoor recreation major at NC State, and he's doing what he loves. So that's working out well for them. And we're actually heading down there tomorrow to visit for a long weekend. And then our son Grant he graduated from Chapel Hill just this summer. He's 22 and he is a physics astronomy major. And I really don't know what he's going to do with that, but I think there's a lot of different paths that a student can go or a graduate can go in that way. So he's actively looking for employment. So anybody that has physics connections or knows anybody looking for a smart young man in an entry-level position, wave their hands and let me know. But he's living here back at home. He's actually doing some temporary work right now, keeping him busy. Scott and I did a major downsize when we moved here to Raleigh, so little did we know we'd have somebody back at the house living with us. But life throws some curves and you adapt. And our cozy little 3-bedroom ranch house is now interesting with no bonus room or no playroom, but anyway, it's working well and we've enjoyed having them here. So that is my family. I work, luckily I was able to, when we moved from Raleigh, and we had lived in Raleigh for 20 years, so it was a big move for us. But I work for a company called DDI Print, and I sell commercial printing and branded promotional products. So I've been doing that for about 7 years and have a great group of clients in the Raleigh-Durham area. So I could just pick up really and move anywhere since we don't have Terry. It's a small company and I can call on anyone. So moving to a new area actually was okay with me. I still go back to Raleigh about once a week. Well, not as often now with seeing clients, but what I sell mostly is branded promotional products. So anything with the company's branding on it. And I really see myself more as a consultant. You can go online and order cups and pens and tote bags and all of that online anytime. But what I try to bring to the table is really finding out what my customers' clients, or what my clients' end user, what the event is, what they'll be using it for, what their budget is, what their time frame is, and try to find the right product for their needs. So I can call on anybody, and it's been a challenging, obviously, during this COVID with being able to call on new clients and go see people, but doing the best I can and trying to, I felt like with Rotary, number one, making friends and being a part of a community that I can serve was my number one reason for wanting to join. And if I'm able to gain some business from that as I meet people, that's just a bonus. So in my spare time, I'm an avid exerciser. I love to do yoga. I started playing tennis at Starmount and have seen a few familiar faces from Rotary over there, which has been nice. I do Pure Barre. Like I said, I do yoga. I do a Peloton, so I try to stay active. And this morning I do have a doctor's appointment, just a routine doctor's appointment. So I'm going to scoot out shortly for that. But that's about a 10-minute summary of me, and I appreciate being able to introduce myself. And I have met a lot of you. I've been through to some 505s on Wednesday, but I have actually, I shouldn't say I haven't met a lot of you. I've met some of you, but look forward to meeting all of you and attending some of the morning meetings when y'all get back in a routine again. So that is it.
Kim, do you want to share that maybe Scott may be joining?
Today, well, Scott blew me a kiss and he's not joining us this morning.
No, but Scott's considering joining.
I thought you meant, yeah. So Scott, in fact, we went to Gail's house last week for the 505 that was there, and Scott came with me and he loved meeting you all, and he is going to, he said, hey, I'd kind of like to, that sounds like he'd like to be a part of the satellite group as well. So yes, he is gonna, I'm trying to get him into our goal of 20 members in the first year. I think, Mark, that's what we were kind of, Mark and Chip, I think we were leaning towards that. So I think he might be maybe number 17 or 18 on the roster. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And that'll be a nice thing for us to be able to do and volunteer and join together. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the satellite's excited to have him. We didn't know. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. How about, yeah, he had a great time the other night. So I said, and Lisa and we kind of talked to him and he's like, yeah, absolutely.
Great guy.
So,
great guy.
yeah, well, thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for Kim?
Sorry, I don't have much more to add.
Well, I will tell you that you don't want to just agree to go on a casual walk around the park with her. I've done that once, and I did it once.
Maybe we could start a walking club or something.
She's a fast walker. But thank you, Kim, for logging in this morning and sharing with us at the last minute. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we also, Kim, since Kim Danes is on here, we have another mutual friend Kim Statham, who reached out yesterday to Kim Tyler and asked about the online or the application for Satellite Club. So we may have 2 new Satellite Club members.
I want to try to work on my husband too. I think that would be a good group for him to be in. So we'll try to work on that.
He should have been a member today.
I know. And you know what, you guys, but that just seemed ludicrous for us to do that just to be in the prizes. So I don't want to force him into something, but we'll work on it.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. We did this a little bit out of order to give her time to show up for a doctor's appointment. I'm highly respectful of people being on time for their appointments. So, you know, in the age of doing unconventional meetings, we're going to now proceed with our happy dollars. Buster, you want to
happy dollars, baby.
And we've got plenty of time for happy dollars, so feel free to share everything.
Right, I've got one. I learned this week that Dr. Fauci and I have something in common. Can you guess what it is? We're both Paul Harris Fellows.
Oh.
The Grand Haven Club in Michigan presented Dr. Fauci with a Paul Harris Fellow this year for his outstanding work regarding the pandemic. So I just thought I'd share that bit of trivia with all of you that are Paul Harris Fellows.
Very nice.
That's awesome, Kim.
Yeah, that is.
I thought that was pretty good trivia.
I thought you were going to tell us he was a Chippewa.
No, he didn't graduate from Central Michigan University. Sorry.
That's really cool.
I've got a happy dollar. I just started taking part in the leadership with the 2021 Leadership Greensboro program sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. And it's under normal circumstances, it's a really challenging curriculum that lasts about 9 months. In the COVID era with 4-hour Zoom meetings and then masked activities afterwards, it has an additional challenge, but it's really exciting. What a great bunch of people. That's it.
That's cool. That's a great program. Who's done that in the club so far? Who's done Leadership Greensboro?
Oh, Rosa has.
Really?
Actually, she got invited, I don't know, while she was in high school. They took part, she got invited into a program there.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah. They do something like, they have to apply, but they pick 2 kids from each high school to do a program or something, and she did that. It was wonderful.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Let me add, I can add $50. Rosa is just finished Rush, and she is officially a Delta Gamma at NC State.
Congratulations. We assume that's good. We're all just assuming that's a good thing.
I guess.
Gail, they just get dressed up a lot and they go to a lot of fancy things. Just look forward to it.
Okay, she's excited. She's been back and forth with Valley quite a bit, so it was quite the process with the Zoom meetings, over 4 days for like 5 hours at a time. It's just hard to really, it was down between that and Chi Omega, which is the largest women's. So she really did well the whole time, got all her bids, what she wanted, ended up with her top 2. And of course she picked one and now is sorry she didn't pick the other, but she is a teenager. So I guess that's just par for the course.
Gail, in Wilder's day there, the DGs were the preferred sorority to bring to a party or a mixer. They were a lot of fun. They were very social. So she's in the right place, I think.
Let's hope. And Victoria's driving. No accidents yet. Very excited. So that's $2 happy there. I'll add a third one. I'm very excited to be able to participate in helping our club hold this World's Greatest Meal and pig stock. My casa, your casa.
Very nice. Thank you for doing that. That's cool. Anybody else?
Yes, I'll add a couple of happy dollars. First of all, I don't know why my video screen won't work, but I'm here and listening. My happy dollars for my daughter who just finished a month she's a 4th-year medical student at Wake Forest, and she just finished a month in the ICU at Baptist Hospital there, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I don't have to tell you, she is completely flat out slammed. But the important message is that until you've seen an ICU full of COVID patients, you must take this disease seriously. It is a killer. And it's not going away unless we really fully participate. That's probably worth $5. I'll put 5 in. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing.
I have one, Buster.
All right, Dr. Guy.
So we're shipping my oldest child off to UNC Charlotte. He because he was an early college student, he's starting his freshman. Well, he started his freshman year already as a junior. So that hopefully he gets finished in a timely manner. He could potentially graduate in 2 years, but we're sending him off, and because he's already had the coronavirus and he presumably has antibodies, he's at a slightly lower risk. So we plan on leaving him there come hell or high water. So. We also have started our next child driving, and like Gail, she's accident free in month 1. So 1 down and counting. So that's
If I
always an
could,
accomplishment to have a 16-year-old not crash early on.
just a short story on early college. Both of my children were early college. My son Ben was at Guilford College and was under the same circumstances where he could have graduated in 2 years. And we were just wringing our hands and saying, "This is great." Well, he stayed 5 years. So don't jump to conclusions.
It's funny.
Buster, this is Kelly. I've got one.
All right, Kelly.
So this was a little delayed because we actually got this award back in the early spring, but with COVID, we just decided to hold off. But we were awarded our 21st consecutive year of the AAA 4 Diamond Award at Grandover. And we wanted to wait till a lot of our team members got back because it really is our staff's award. So we presented it to them last week and had a lot of fun with it. And just it's a nice to be recognized.
Nice, nice. Well earned. Good job. Very nice. All right. If no
Hey,
one
wait a
else-
minute, Buster. Hello, Buster.
Yeah, Rick. Rick, come out of the corner, Rick.
Hey, actually, I'm in a corner of a very nice room with the door closed. Trying not to be too noisy here. Put me down for gracious. I ought to put in. Well, never mind what I ought to put in. Put me down for 20. I drove to Oklahoma to check on my 2 older sisters, and one had just atrophied from sitting in her. She lives in an independent living place apartment, and had just gotten really very weak, and so she went to rehab, and that's why I was in Oklahoma to check on her and my other sister. And gracious sakes, what a great turnaround! It was a wonderful trip. I could only see her through the window. You have to walk up to the facility, and they have her on the first floor, and you ran by the air conditioners, and I was always afraid I was going to get shot because somebody thought I was a burglar or something. But it was just wonderful. Made the trip worth it just to get to see them both, even though it was through, a window. But she has made a remarkable turnaround, amazingly quick, and is on her road back to independent living again. And when I went over, she was first there. The prognosis was not good. They were afraid that she would have to leave there and then go to assisted living. And so I could not be more happy. And gracious, put me down for 20 today. And happy boy here.
What a good brother, man.
Oh, what a great sister. I'm the youngest of 6. And I tell you what, I come from a great loving family, and it's just my 2 sisters that's left, and great sisters and brothers is what it is.
Nice.
Henri, littlest brother.
Very lucky.
I'm very lucky. Thank you.
Nice, nice. Well, Grandpappy Lewis, I think we can probably all agree on this. Grandpappy Lewis used to tell me that by the time justice is done, injustice has usually gotten away with everything it wanted to. So is that true, Chris?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Buster. So I'm gonna kind of highlight what we're doing for our first non-Zoom meeting, and it will be a hybrid Zoom meeting. So people are kind of asking, will they still be able to participate with Zoom? And yes, we're going to plan our first meeting October 8th, and the board unanimously voted. I did send a lot of this in email, so if you've already heard it or seen it, it's redundant. Most of you don't check your emails anyway, so I'm going to go back through it. So October 8th, we're planning to meet as a hybrid meeting. We're going to try and work out the Zoom, get it to where people can participate, and we will be in 2 rooms. So the 2 rooms are going to have up to 16 people each. We have a room minimum set by the O'Henry of 10 per room. So if we end up with 18 people, we're only going to be able to do 1 room, and we'll have to basically only have 16 people. If we end up with 20, then we'll have 10 per room. So we're going to try and send out, we tried to send out the sign up. We have a couple of kinks to work out with that. We'll try and send out the sign up again. And hopefully for that first meeting, we can get everybody to sign up early to get a good feel for how many people. There are going to be some logistics involved, so we are not planning a speaker for that first meeting. We're just going to get together and enjoy each other's company, take care of some of the in-person business that we haven't been able to do for over 6 months. So the meal choice is going to be preset. Everybody will get to pick from one of 4 choices. Steve sent that out to everybody, and I think you got some idea. I sent it as well, so you got some idea of what the meal choices are.
Not getting any of those. I don't know why. I think I've been maybe booted off the email. Who do I call about that?
If you're not getting the emails, the first thing I would do is log into DACDB and check and see if your email is correct in DACDB. And then if you're still not getting them, I would go and check your spam filters or any other filter that's on your email to see if the mail serve from DACDB is being filtered.
Okay. I'll try again.
I want to interrupt. I want to apologize to everyone. I did send out an initial sign out Genius yesterday. And while it looked really pretty, it was pretty well non-functional. So I'll probably be reaching out to Matt Foster, who's the expert, and get some pointers from him. There's just a couple dynamics there that I need to tweak, and I'll get it back out. And I know every one of you reads every one of my emails, whether you do, guys, or not. So,
Of course.
So to kind of keep going on this, we're we're going to have pretty large rooms. I'm going to ask Tony if Tony had some items that, and Tony, I'm sorry to call on you last minute, but he had some discussion items that he wants to make sure everybody's clear on, because though they're really in the business of protecting us and themselves. So they're going to make sure it's safe. They're going to set some requirements for our club. And while I know everybody loves to do these Zoom meetings, this is the best way for us to get back to meeting in person. So Tony, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, and Guy, I know that you had sent out a sort of an idea of a way to approach sort of having some in-person meetings several months ago, and it's a lot of things that are for some facets sort of required, like mask wearing is, unless you're sitting at a table actively sort of eating, you've got to have a mask on. We ask that people are maintaining 6 foot sort of social distancing in rooms as much as possible. Obviously, if one person's getting coffee, another person's, we're still figuring out some of that stuff, because usually we have a big old buffet set, and we're going to be doing probably, like individual pots on tables and that sort of stuff instead. We're figuring some of those logistics out a little bit. But yeah, the mask wearing, checking in, for those of you that have been to a doctor's office, a dentist office, Guy, I'm sure you guys are doing this. You have a sort of health screening that happens, and that's not something that the hotel's doing, but that we are asking every group to do. Each room, would have sort of what we call would like to have every room have what we would call a safety ambassador to sort of help make sure that we are following, all those protocols. So we want people to be able to get back together. We want to be safe, and we don't want to, end up getting people sick along the way. So that's where, all of our focus is.
Thank you, Tony. So, to remind everybody, I see in my office, we see 75 to 90 people a day, and every one of them takes off their mask and we dig in their mouths. So no one in our office in 6 months has contracted the virus. We've had multiple people tested just to check. So it is possible to be safe if you follow the protocols. If people want to be defiant and do otherwise, we may actually utilize our sergeant at arms and ask you to leave. But I know this is a good group and everybody's going to do what we need to make sure we keep it safe. And hopefully this will be, a few months in, we'll be able to go back to more normal meetings if the vaccine rolls out or whatever. If not, we just play it by ear and do this hybrid meeting type for as long as we need to and get to, a safe point where we just keep moving along. So I'm going to open it to the floor. I'm not sure, we'll do it like Happy Dollars. If people have questions that maybe I can field or Tony can field or whoever, we'll see. Go ahead.
Hey, Guy.
Yeah.
I saw something on CNBC the other day about the newest Apple Watch has an oximeter feature in it. And somebody, one of the commentators, and I think it was a medical professional, was saying that that is a very good marker or rather leading indicator as to whether you're not necessarily COVID positive, but that you got an issue.
Yeah, so we use that as part of our screening technique in my office. Everybody gets their blood oxygen level checked. We also do temperatures. We also do a questionnaire. We also visually scan for symptoms. I would hope by now everybody has read up and is familiar with what signs and symptoms you should be looking for in yourself. And, in a group, high functioning adults like this group, Matthew's off, so I can safely say this group. In a group of high functioning adults, you can self-screen and protect your peers by knowing, what to do and what not to do. And then if you also have risk factors, don't come to these hybrid Zoom meetings. Stay on Zoom if you want to participate in the meetings until we get back to where we meet live. So yeah, I can provide things. I can provide a thermometer. I can provide a pulse oximeter. I can provide a bunch of stuff if we want to incorporate that into the screening process. What we'll need if we're going to do that is a couple of volunteers, because it'll take time to do all of it. People will probably have to show up in a timely manner to get it all done. So the first meeting, like I said, we're not going to plan a speaker to allow us to get through it and kind of troubleshoot the pitfalls. All right, what else? All right. Can I get kind of a quick show of hands? And this is just for my own personal information. If you plan to attend in person, can you hold up your hand? And I'm going to kind of scroll through here and kind of count. So, I counted about 15 people there. My tablet's not loading super fast, but
my hand is up.
Yeah. So, once we get the sign up out, we'll get a good idea. So, that number alone, we can start proceeding with at least one room of people. So the plan is to do it in 2 weeks, and we're going to move forward.
Guy, I have a question.
Yes.
So when we do have a speaker and we're in 2 different rooms, so is one room they will be watching on audio, visual, or how's that working?
Yeah, you can, similar to what we would have happen or what we do have happen every week here with this meeting, you can have someone who is focused as the speaker, and they would be the primary thing, and they would end up being, yes, on a screen with audio coming in. The hope is that, and we've only had this with 1 or 2 other smaller groups, groups when we were doing like only up to 8, that we had in 2 separate rooms, and they were sort of both at 2 conference tables, and each group could see each other in essence and sort of interact with one another. But you're at least, closer together with more people.
The way I envision it is we use the projector and somebody plugs their tablet or laptop into the projector, and then we project the active speaker onto the screen in the alternate room, and then everybody else who's not there sees it on Zoom. So I'm not sure, Lisa. I mean, the good news is I don't think anybody's expecting a rock star performance these first couple of meetings. We're gonna work through it as a group, and hopefully we can figure it all out and pull it off. So I mean, hopefully we can plan for speakers for the 15th, for October 15th, and move forward there.
Yeah, I have speakers planned for the rest of, I think, the remainder of October and most of November. And it's been really interesting that a lot of speakers don't want to speak on Zoom, which I found really surprising.
Yeah, I had the same issue lining up speakers.
It's different and it's hard as a speaker because you don't get to really engage as much. You don't get to hear the feedback, from people. So that is that makes it a challenge for sure.
Yeah, I can say from my perspective, it's not fun leading Rotary Zoom meetings either. So I'll be happy to go back to live meetings. It is. I mean, it's a little challenging to try and get a feel for how the room is enjoying it and make these things enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to us getting back to live meetings.
Guy, I think you've done a great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll wrap it up a little bit early.
Hey, Guy, I do have a question about the hybrid meetings, and this is probably a stupid, obvious question, but in keeping attendance records, since it's a hybrid meeting, you get credit whether you attend in person or you attend online, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And you can watch the meeting after and log a makeup. I mean, there's 100 different ways to have attendance. So.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the day of the meeting. Steve's gonna keep attendance whether you're online or whether you're in person, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to acknowledge Steve for volunteering to do the sign up. It's going to be a bit of a chore to do this on a weekly basis, and I'm going to help him in any way I can, but I have my own tasks to do for our meetings. So thank you, Steve, for volunteering, and we're with you no matter how many times you have to send it out.
That's right. And also thank Dale Farlow. I'm not sure. Dale had surgery this week, so he's probably not on. But he's doing well. I talked to him yesterday, but this will also be more challenging for our treasurer to bill folks. You don't just push the button and send out a quarterly bill. So it's more work on, all the folks involved. So thanks, Steve, and Dale, if you're listening.
Hey, Steve, this is Brad. If you want any help with that Sign Up Genius or doing it a different way, let me know.
So that's one other thing I didn't add to the monologue there is the cost for the meal is going to be about $25. And part of the increased cost is the room charge. And Tony, to Quince Weaver and O. Henry's credit, Tony has greatly lowered the room rental price for us. So we're getting a real deal there. And it costs a lot of money to maintain and operate and set up these rooms. So he has greatly lowered the fee. It's still a bit expensive for a breakfast, but to have it in such a nice location, that's about as bare bones as we can get the cost. I'm actually budgeting in a little bit of the cost of the meal into our missed meetings that we all paid for last year. So the cost is actually below what each member will get billed is actually below what will be charged to each member through the club. So we're trying to keep the costs low. Hopefully, once we get back to normal meetings, our costs will go back pretty similar to what it was before, but we don't know. We have to see what special accommodations will have to be made going forward. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you for our last full Zoom meeting next week.
This is funny. I hear the dog barking, and of course I can't see. but what it says at the bottom is Gail Stansel is speaking.
Crazy puppy.
Dismissed him. Bye all.
Bye.
Everybody have a good week.
Okay.